Language development is a multifaceted, complex phenomenon with many contributing factors. The manipulation of some of these factors in a classroom setting can have direct impact on students' language development, including ELL students. One such factor is classroom talk, which I sought to examine in regards to my research question: what is the relationship between classroom talk and language development in ELLs in a K-12 setting? The theorist G assures that discourse inherently includes sets of values and viewpoints, and as a result, we need to be intentional in examining and structuring discourse in our classrooms as students develop their cultural and linguistic identities alongside content learning. A semester-long research project guided by this research question led me to a synthesis of my findings, which can be explained through the aid of this visual. Now, within the classrooms, teachers have the ability to manipulate some of the social and contextual structures in the classroom with the intent of aiding students in their language development. When doing this, it is important to be mindful of both the primary discourse of your students as well as the dominant discourse, which would be English in this case. Students can also either acquire language, which is usually done more subconsciously, or learn language, which is generally more explicit. Here, you can see various structures in the classroom and in what ways they benefit students' language development. Teacher questioning is one structure in the classroom that can aid students' learning. As you can see here, this is included in 3 out of 4 of these boxes and can aid students in both acquiring and learning language. Research has demonstrated that teacher questioning aids in students' exploratory talk, and that an appropriate mixture of varied kinds of questioning in relation to students' output contributes to an increase in oral language production. Thus, teacher questions should build on previous utterances and should inspire talk that is beyond simple retells and explanations of prior learning, but that delves into more complex thinking that will inspire students' discussion and oral language production. Another structure that can be used to aid students' language development is literature circles or discussions. This is more of a collaborative, small group discourse structure, and research shows that this is closely related with an increase in academic talk. Additionally, this structure provides opportunities for engagement, collaboration, expression, and verbal negotiation of meaning. Such contextual structuring aids in the development of numerous literacy skills, including comprehension strategies, ability to provide textual evidence, collaborative reasoning, and critical evaluation and understandings of text. Specifically, when done in a bilingual context and structured effectively, literature discussions have drawn on students' funds of knowledge while allowing them to interact with primary and dominant discourses in a successful, collaborative, meaningful manner while simultaneously providing oral output and acquiring knowledge of both discourses. Multiple discourses were also permitted in a classroom that implemented the collaborative reasoning of structure. This open format discussion approach was used in both mainstream and bilingual classes. While this approach yielded positive English development results for both classes, the differences were more substantial for the mainstream English classes, suggesting that there are limitations to the benefits of primary language use in the classroom. Another structure known as feedback was also analyzed throughout my research. This teaching strategy draws students' conscious attention to their English language development. In one study, corrective repair feedback, in addition to good student-teacher relationships and connections, contributed to higher order thinking and proficient development of English language skills. And finally, the last structure I came across in my research included content classes in students' primary language. The structuring of one school that took this approach included many courses offered in Spanish and sought to develop students' abilities in their primary language, and did so successfully. However, this resulted in students' limited exposure to English. While the school boasted of high performance rates on the English Regents, the study indicated that students did not have high proficiency or communicative abilities in English beyond what they prepared for on the test. This research reveals that while primary discourses, as well as linguistic and cultural identities, are important elements, a high focus on primary language development and instruction likely correlates with deficient levels in others, such as English language development. All of these structures addressed varying aspects of students' language development, with differing levels of success and areas of growth. They additionally all influence students' development of linguistic and cultural identities, dependent on how much such matters were addressed or discussed, or not addressed or discussed in the classroom. In conclusion, as educators, we need to be intentional in aiding our students' language development through the application of multiple social and contextual structures. Through the use of many structures, we can be intentional in developing students' primary language abilities, which can serve as a bridge to their L2 development, as well as intentional instruction focused on their L2 English development. All in all, intentional planning that incorporates multiple structures can be beneficial in aiding students' language development in various areas.